Hello everyone, today we're going to be making this delicious recipe, Chiles Rellenos. They are stuffed poblano peppers and they are stuffed with cheese and they are smothered in this yummy tomato sauce. So if you want to see how I make this delicious recipe, just keep watching. So these are the ingredients that you're going to need for this recipe. You need some poblano peppers. Usually we eat one per person. So in this case, I'm doing 5 large poblano peppers. You can find them at Walmart, but I've got these at my local grocery store, Mexican grocery store. You need some cheese. You can have block cheese or shredded cheese, some green beans because we're doing some green beans for the kids, some Knorr, some flour, some garlic. I'm just using this garlic, minced garlic, oregano, onion, and about 9 to 10 Roma tomatoes. Also, you're going to need some eggs. You're going to need some oil and salt and pepper. And of course, some adobo for more flavor. You're going to start by rinsing and washing your vegetables really good. I'm using my Thieves Veggie Spray, and I'm just going to clean my poblano peppers and my green beans really good. I'm going to cook my green beans for about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to add some salt, and I am going to cook these until they're tender. So you're going to want to put your Roma tomatoes in some water so they can cook until they're soft. And you're going to want to add your piece of onion to that water. I'm going to be cooking and roasting my poblano peppers on this wire rack. You can use it on your flat top. You can put it in a skillet, however you like. You just want to get them charred and roasted pretty good, as dark as possible, because that would make it so much easier for them to peel, and you will see how I do that later on. But you want to check on your green beans and make sure that you're checking on your tomatoes to see if they are done. So you can start on your sauce and just get those peppers charred really well. You can use some tongs to flip them or whatever you want so you won't burn your hands. So our tomatoes are looking like they're almost done. After you have your poblanos done, you want to put them in a bag so they can sweat, or you can put them in a Tupperware container. Make sure you grab something so you won't burn your hands, because these lids are going to be pretty hot. But I'm just going to check on my green beans, and they look like they're getting pretty tender. You just kind of want to see the flexibility of them. Make sure that they're not hard, but also do not burn yourself. And it looks like they are, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. Also, my tomatoes are done, so we can start putting our tomatoes in our blender, because we're going to blend this so we can start making our delicious tomato sauce that goes with this meal. So you're just going to want to put all of your tomatoes in that blender along with your piece of onion. And you're just going to want to dump out this boiling water, because you don't really want to blend with water being so hot. It could cause a big mess, and it could be really painful as well if you get burned. So I'm just putting my tomatoes in the blender, and then I am going to be adding 3 cups of cold water to it, so they would blend a lot better. To my blender, I'm also going to be adding garlic. You can use this minced garlic. If you only have garlic powder, you can use garlic powder. If you have fresh garlic, you can add your fresh garlic to this. Probably about 2 cloves would be enough. So I'm adding about a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half of this minced garlic. Just kind of taste it and see how you like it. You know, start off little by little and just taste your sauce. Because once you start cooking it, it's going to start changing flavor. So if you want to add more at that time, go ahead and do so. But we're just going to blend for about 45 seconds, and it should be smooth and ready to go. So you're going to want to get a deep pot, or you're going to want to get a Dutch oven. I'm using my Dutch oven, and I'm putting about a tablespoon of oil in there, and into the oil I added some more of the minced garlic, and I'm just going to toss that around, and then I'm going to add my sauce so it can start cooking. So to my sauce, I'm going to add the caldo de pollo, the Knorr caldo de pollo. I'm going to add about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half, like I said. And if you feel like you're going to need more water, then add more water. I added a total of 4 cups of water after I noticed how much I was making. So you're just going to kind of want to go as you go along, depending on how much you're making. But I am adding about a tablespoon and a half of this Knorr caldo de pollo. I'm not going to be using any salt. So that's going to be my seasoning for this sauce. So now we're going to add about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of oregano. So you're going to want to add this to your pot, to your sauce, and you're going to want to let it simmer for about 15 minutes. Just keep your eye on it. Check on it every once in a while. You're going to want to put this on medium heat, and it's just going to start cooking. Taste it as you go. Make sure it has enough salt. If not, add more salt or more Knorr for the flavor. So now I have strained my green beans, and this is what they look like. And we're going to start peeling our poblano peppers. You can use the back of your spoon, or you can just simply peel them just like that. They're still going to be a little bit warm, so just be careful. You can wear gloves in case they are a little spicy, but they shouldn't be spicy at all. So it's so easy to take off the skin when you char them really good. And you can see that in the spots where I did not char them well, it's a little bit harder to peel, but this is what you're gonna do. You just simply take it off. And I have a little bowl of water just so it can come off of my fingers easier, but this is all you do. And just repeat the process to every one of your poblano peppers. Also, they're going to be pretty soft at this point, so you're just going to want to make sure not to like rip them, because it's a little bit harder for you to stuff them and then try to close them back together when they are ripped, even though it does happen. Just make sure that you're going to have enough toothpicks to seal those. So it's optional for you to take the seeds out. I'm going to show you how I take these out, but you really don't have to. They really, I mean, they don't bother us. They might bother you. You might want to take the veins out just in case. They can be a little bit spicy, but we don't. I'm just showing you how you could do it. You really don't want to like rinse them off or anything like that, because it takes away from their flavor. But if you want to do that, that's fine. You know, I just kind of go in there with the spoon and just take the seeds off like that. But, you know, in this case, I'm just going to show you, well, kind of show you how I do it. I'm just letting them fall into that bowl. But I'm not going to do it to the rest of them. So that's what it looks like. It's kind of hard to get every single one of them out. So that should be good enough. And that slit is pretty big. So it's going to be a little bit tricky on doing that, on getting them back closed. And you just want to make sure that they are closed so the cheese won't come out when you're frying them. I'm also going to add to my sauce a little pack of Sazon Goya. It's just for color and just adds a little bit more flavor. You know, you can see that it changed colors already. And at this point, you know, taste your sauce and see what you think. So you're also going to need all-purpose flour, and it's just to dust your chiles so the egg can stick on it better. I lightly salted my flour. So you're going to need about, you know, half a cup, just enough to cover the bottom of that plate. And you're just going to go ahead and start stuffing your poblano peppers with the cheese. very carefully, making sure that you don't tear them anymore. This one tore all the way to the bottom, and if you can help it, just kind of put like about a 2-inch, not even a 2-inch, like 1.5-inch slit in the very center of your peppers. You see, now I'm going to have to close them with these toothpicks so they won't open up while I'm frying them. And then once you stuff them and you get them all sealed with your toothpicks, you're going to want to lightly dust your peppers in the flour. And you're just going to want to repeat this process with all of your peppers. So for my peppers that are not open already, I'm just going to use the back of my spoon to make a little slit in the peppers so I can go ahead and stuff them with the cheese. Just make sure that you don't apply too much pressure so you won't, cut through the other side, because then you will need more toothpicks to try to get them to close, because again, you do not want these to open up while you're frying them, because that cheese will be making a big mess. So for your green beans, you're just going to want to drench them, kind of just dust some flour on them. So for the same reason, so the egg can stick on them when you fry them. And that's about it. Just continue to do that for all of your green beans. So I make these even for myself, but especially for the kids, because, some of them don't want to eat the poblano peppers. So the green beans, the ejotes, are a great choice. What I want to do is separate the egg yolks from the egg whites. And we're going to start by blending the egg whites at really high speed. We're going to be beating them with our handheld mixer, but you can do it by hand. I don't recommend it because you will be there forever. And you really have to keep the speed consistent so you get stiff peaks in your egg whites. Or you can use your stand mixer as well, as it will do the job for you on high speed. But I'm just going to be separating the egg yolks from the egg whites. I'm using a total of 8 eggs, 8 egg whites, and I'm going to use a total of 6 yolks. You can use all of them. It's just not necessary. So I'm going to be using my handheld mixer on high speed. I'm just going to keep beating these egg whites until they have very stiff peaks. Once I am almost to the end, I'm going to just briefly dust a little bit of flour. It actually, you can actually use cream of tartar as well, just so they can keep those peaks after I add the egg yolks and some salt. So this is what it's going to look like. Once you're done, you're going to want to add your egg yolks one by one as you are mixing and beating still at high speed. Like I said, I'm not going to use all 8, but you can. And that is what it's going to look like. you are ready to start dipping your delicious peppers and your green beans into the mixture and start frying. I forgot to mention that you have to have your oil already getting warm before you start making your egg whites and your egg mixture. So right now my oil is hot. My pan has been on about medium high for the entire time that I was beating my egg whites. So we're just gonna dip our poblano peppers in our egg mixture and start frying. Make sure your oil is very hot. Mine was not that hot at first because I had it pretty low, but you also don't want it to be burning hot. So about medium high would be perfect. I only had mine on a medium, and as you can see, my oil is not hot enough. You want to start hearing your egg sizzle as you put your chile in your pan with oil, because it will get done a lot better and it will continue to stay fluffy and just golden brown. So I'm just tossing some oil on top of the egg just so it can start cooking evenly. So I decided to do 2 at a time, but they can be very tricky to flip. So if you want to do just 1 at a time to start, that's perfectly fine. Like I said, just keep tossing that oil on top of them, that hot oil on top of the egg so they can cook evenly. Like I said, I'm doing 2. I am using my tongs and a spatula to flip these. It's very important because you want to make sure that when you flip them, you don't burn yourself, or that you maintain the structure of the chile without getting that egg to fall apart. Just so they can look presentable, they can be very nice and fluffy, and the egg won't fall apart once you put it in your tomato sauce. If you had a little bit more oil than I did, that would probably be better, because you would be able to cook the sides and the back of the chile better, the egg on the chile better. So I am just going to be, tossing some of that hot oil on top of them just so they can cook evenly. You want to make sure that they're cooked as good as possible, even though you will cook them in your tomato sauce as well. You kind of want to make sure that they are cooked all the way. And you will see that it is not easy to flip these. So like I said, if you want to just do 1 at a time, that would be so much better. And just make sure you have the right equipment so you can flip them easier. I turned on my pot of my tomato sauce back on just so I can start putting in my chile rellenos as soon as they are done cooking, so they can start cooking in that sauce as well. And just keep repeating that process. You don't want to add your chiles into your egg mixture until you're ready to fry them. That's very important. You cannot get ahead in these steps and try to do that, because that egg would just fall apart. So it's very important that you dip them in the egg once you are ready to fry them. And you will see the difference of me just cooking 1 chile versus putting 2 chiles at a time. This one will come out a lot better because I am dedicating my time to this one chile. So, just do one at a time. That's perfectly fine. It will take you longer, but this process, this meal is lengthy anyways. And yeah, some of the stems are a little longer than the others. It's just a little bit complicated to flip them, but you'll get the hang of it. You'll figure it out. You can also make these chiles and just eat them like this without a sauce at all. You can eat them in a taco. You can eat them in a torta. I've seen them in burritos. I make these yummy burritos where I put them in. So you can just eat them just like that, and they are so tasty. So I'm just grabbing a handful of my green beans, and I'm dipping them in my egg mixture. These are a little bit easier to cook. You kind of want to press them down as you're cooking them once you have both of the sides, seared, because the egg inside in between the green beans takes a little bit longer to cook. So you're going to want to make sure to leave them on there for about 1.5 minutes on each side, and then kind of press them down. You'll see kind of what I do, just so they can cook evenly. But it just you just kind of put them together and cook them together. And again, you're going to want to toss these in to your sauce as soon as they're done. So you just want to keep repeating that process until you're finished cooking your green beans. You want to put them into your sauce, and just let them cook in the sauce as well for about 5 to 10 minutes. And there you have it. I have cooked them for about 7 minutes, and they are done. My chiles rellenos and my ejotes con huevo are done. Such a delicious meal. I made some Mexican rice to go along with this dish, and this is the finished results. Our chiles rellenos are done, and we're ready to eat. If you enjoyed this video and my other videos, please subscribe to my channel. And as always, thank you for watching.